Hey guys, it's Marissa. So in today's video, we're obviously doing something really special. So I wanted to create like an Easter inspired makeup tutorial, and I wanted to create like different Easter eggs all over my face and still have like a pretty eye look to it that kind of like matches to what I'm wearing. And I just think all the colors that I incorporated are kind of relating to spring. So hopefully this inspires you to do something a little bit different for Easter. I know we're probably all bored out of our minds right now just staying home. So I just wanted to do something different and be a little bit creative. And if you're interested in how I did this look, then just keep on watching. So we're first going to be starting with our eyes, and I'm going to be creating a cut crease, but the first thing we're going to do is create a base, and I'm going to be using the Covergirl concealer in the shade Neautralizer. I'm just going to be applying that to my eyelid and then blending everything out with my finger. And then one of the palettes that we're going to be using today is the Frida Kahlo palette by Ulta Beauty. And we're going to be dipping into the shade Soul, and I'm just going to be using the Morphe M321 brush and just applying it to the crease of my eye and then just buffing it out and creating like a wing-like effect. We're also going to be dipping into the James Charles palette by Morphe, and I'm just going to be using the shade B and just applying that same color or like a brighter color yellow on top of that just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. And then to just blend everything together, I'm just going to be using a Morphe M330 brush and just really buff those colors out. We're going to be going back in again with that Frida palette in the shade Adobe, and I'm just going to be applying that to my crease and just buffing it out again using a Morphe M321 brush. That way we can kind of darken the crease a bit and just create a little bit more dimension. I just think that this is like a really pretty reddish orange shade, and it can just add a little bit more color to the eye look also. And then once I have that shade placed, I'm going to go back in with the Morphe M330 brush and just really blend everything together. And then we're going to be relying on this a lot. We're going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fairest. And I'm just going to be applying this on my eyelid and just going back and forth with blending it with my finger and then with an e.l.f. concealer brush also. And I'm just going to be cutting the crease with this. So if you're going to try to recreate this look at home, then I would recommend using one of your favorite concealers or one of the most highest coverage concealers or face paint, because we're also going to be using this as an outline and to just create a base to make the eggs on your face also. To sharpen the crease even more, I'm going to be applying more concealer to the outer edges of that cut crease just to make the edges as smooth and clean as possible before applying any kind of eyeshadow to set it with. Then we're going to be taking the shade Dahlia from that same Frida palette, and I'm just going to be applying it with either my finger or the e.l.f. Precision brush just to really get into the corners of that crease and to also set the concealer with it also. And then I'm just going to be repeating those same steps to the other eye. And I really wanted that color to pop out a little bit more, so I took the Kylie Jenner Pressed Illuminating Powder in the shade Ice Me Out, and I just used my finger and that same e.l.f. Precision brush and just overlaid on top of that, and that way it was a little bit more shimmery as well. I'm also going to be using the Adora Overcomer eyeliner, which is actually 20% off if you use my code Marisa. I will put their link in the description below so you can check it out if you're interested. I will be uploading a video on them next week, and basically I'm going to be comparing how it works compared to other name brands such as e.l.f. and Kat Von D. And if you're interested to see what my thoughts were on this product compared to everything else, then I would suggest to you to subscribe to my channel so then you can see my next upload on next Wednesday the 15th. The next step is priming my face, so I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I'm just going to be applying that with my finger and just blending everything into my skin. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Beige Cosmetics foundation in the shade Medium Beige. I'm just going to be applying that onto my skin and then just blending everything out using a Real Techniques Beauty Complexion sponge. And then for more coverage under my eyes or any other darkness spots on my face, I'm going to go back in with that LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fairest. And then I'm just going to blend everything out again and just make sure everything's evenly blended with that same Beauty Complexion sponge. To set my face, I'm going to be using the Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Naturally Neutral, and I'm just going to be applying that everywhere where I set the foundation and the concealer. And then to bronze and contour my face, I'm going to be using my Butter Bronzer, which is like my favorite bronzer to use, in the shade 6676. And I'm just going to be applying this using an Ulta blush brush. And then before we move on to anything else, I totally forgot that I didn't do my eyebrows, so I'm just going to be filling them in using the shade Lava and Infinity. I'm just going to be using an angled brush for that and just really just filling them in as much as possible. For blush, we're going to be using the Tarte blush in the shade Peaceful, and we're going to go really heavy with this just so we can add a little bit more of like dimension to where the eggs are going to be, and you can just see them a little bit better since my skin is just so pale. So it just gives me a little bit of a better idea of where to put the outline for them. And then afterwards, we're going to be going in with the Morphe Setting Mist Spray and just setting my face with that. And then I'm just going to be blending everything into my skin again using that same Real Techniques Beauty Complexion sponge and just make sure everything is even and doesn't look too blotchy. And then I'm going to be using that Covergirl cover stick again just to cover a few pimples of mine before we go on to the next step. And then I'm going to be taking that shade Adobe and Soul with the e.l.f. Precision brush and just add those two together to my lower lash line and just kind of blend them as much as possible. And then to apply highlight, I'm going to be using the Kylie Jenner highlighter in the shade Ice Me Out, and I'm just going to be applying that to the highest points of my face using an e.l.f. blending brush. And then I'm just going to be blending everything into my skin one more time again. And now to start painting the eggs on our face, we're going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer again in the shade Fairest. I'm just going to be sketching everything out using an e.l.f. concealer brush, and then I'm just going to be blending everything in and just filling in that egg with also my finger. And I'm also just going to be focusing on one egg at a time, so I'm going to be sketching the next one out after I fill in this one with the colors that I want to use. And then I'm taking the shades Playground and Cola from the James Charles Artistry palette by Morphe. And first I'm using that light blue shade just to color the whole egg. And then I'm going to be darkening the outer corners of the egg using the shade Cola just to give it more of a three-dimensional look. And then to create designs on the egg, I'm going to be using the Ulta Beauty Automatic Eyeliner in the shade Matte Cobalt. And it's like a really pretty dark blue shade, and I'm just going to be using the same one with another egg on my face just because it's the only other colored eyeliner that I have. And then I'm going to be adding a little bit of concealer to the edges of the egg just to create more of a reflection to it as well. For the orange egg, I'm going to be using the shades 518 and Rusted. I'm just going to be filling that in with an e.l.f. Precision brush also. For the pink egg, I'm going to be using 3 shades, which is Pinkity, Drinkity, Skip, and Love That. And I'm just going to try to create a little bit more of an ombre effect with this egg, just so it can stand out more compared to the other ones. And then I'm going to be using that same Ulta Beauty automatic eyeliner as well for this one. And then lastly, I'm going to be going in with the green shade, which is in the shades Social Blade and Daddy. And then for the grass, I'm going to be using the same e.l.f. precision brush, and I'm just going to be using those same shades that I used from the green egg. And I'm just going to try to create a little bit more of like a stroking effect to it. And then afterwards, I'm going to add more strokes and just blend everything together using that same LA Girl Pro Concealer again. And then I'm going to try to cover that with the shade Social Blade just to kind of lighten it up and add a little bit more dimension and shadows to it. For mascara, I'm going to be using the Ulta Beauty Maximum Lashes, which is the defining and lengthening mascara in the shade Jet Black. I'm going to be applying a few coats to my top and lower lashes. And then the last step is lips, so I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Champagne Glam. And then afterwards, I'm going to be going in with the Pixie by Petra Matte Nude Lip in the shade Pastel Petal. And I'm just going to be blending that onto my lips so then it can still have a glossy effect. And then that is the completed look. So this is my Easter inspired makeup look. Hopefully this inspires you to get a little bit creative too. And I hope you all stay safe and have an amazing Easter. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!